Hey guys, welcome back to Wok Wednesday. I'm Jeremy from School of Wok in Covent Garden, and we are doing one of the dishes that I've done recently on Ready Steady Cook. We're doing a nice crisped pork belly cooked in cola. Don't forget, subscribe to our channel and like. And of course, hit the notification bell. So you want to boil your pork with those spices for a minimum about 15 minutes. And I cooked this on Ready Steady Cook with the lovely Stephen Mangan, and he absolutely loved the dish, but it's so easy to make. Of course, when you're under pressure with time, 15 minutes is fine, but 45 minutes gets that pork sort of really nice and soft, so when I crisp it up, it's got a crisp outer edge, but soft inside. That's been boiling away for about 40 to 45 minutes already. In the meantime, I'm going to set everything up for the sort of stir-fried finish. And you can finish this in your wok or a large frying pan. Essentially, what you need is high heat to crisp up the slices of pork. I haven't got a huge amount of pork here. I'm doing it more of as a side dish for our breakfast, because everyone wants pork belly for breakfast. So I've got some chunks of spring onion. I'm keeping all this, I'm happy to keep this all a little bit chunky. So just peel your ginger, and then rough chunks of pork, ginger. Rough chunks of ginger, thank you, Lee. And just give them a bash. You don't really need to chop them up or anything, just keep them in one place. Same with the garlic, so you can bash your garlic. Peel that. So you peel your garlic, and then again, just bash that. And then it can all be very rough and ready, my style of cooking. And this dish, other than the poaching, is really quick and easy. You can pre-poach it, slice it when it's cool, and then use it at a later date. The chili, again, also sort of rough chunks. I'm going to cook that through to impart a bit of flavour into the dish. Now, cola, there's a lot of pork and cola dishes out there. It's clearly very, very sweet, and a lot of the time it's used in sort of barbecue marinades and things like that. But sort of the flavours that come in from all the other base flavours, so your tomato paste, your dark soy, light soy, some honey and some mustard, all very, very strong flavours. So what I'm trying to do is like punch that flavour into the pork when it's caramelising in the wok. And that's what the high heat will be for. You want a tablespoon of tomato paste and the same amount of dark soy. I want this to be really dark and caramelised, and dark soy has got a higher percentage of sugar to salt content in than light soy. So that whole tablespoon, which is a fair amount of dark soy, will really work with the cola and caramelise well. Honey, same again, so a tablespoon of each one of those. Just mix that through. And then a couple of tablespoons of light soy for the saltiness. My tummy is rumbling already. A teaspoon of mustard. Mustard works perfectly, especially English mustard with pork. Actually, this is a really simple dish that works really well, I don't know, for a date night or something like that. Although, probably not with me, because I just eat it all and not give it to my wife. And then a pinch of salt, because, again, that Coke is going to be so sweet, and that's where all the sweetness is going to come from. So my sauce is pretty much ready, apart from the Coke. I'm not going to pour that into the sauce here, because I want to get the wok really hot, get that sauce caramelising around the pieces of pork before I then add the liquid, or that extra liquid, so that just sort of lifts all that caramelisation off the wok. So back to the pork. Now the pork belly, I haven't got loads here, but I'm going to thinly slice this, so it will look a lot more than it is. And that's been cooking, as I say, for about 45 minutes, just on the boil, to soften up. But also what it does, even if you're just sort of poaching it for 15 minutes, is it tightens up that fat in the pork. So when I slice into it and then come to crisp it up in the wok or on a frying pan, it crisps up really nicely. You'll get that great sort of golden brown sheen. Keep your stock, because if you only use it whilst you're stir frying, you can. I've just popped it into the pork into some cold water just so that it's easier to touch. And then you're going to go for nice, thin slices. You can see I've kept the skin on, because that will crisp up really nicely. And the poaching of it, just as I say, tightens it up a little. I'm going to do the pork belly first. 12 o'clock on my wok clock with my pork belly, and I'm going to follow that wok clock all the way around. My spring onion, ginger, garlic, and chilli. So you don't need a lot of oil for this, because you'll get sort of that oil coming out of the fat. And when you place it in, you want your heat to be a high heat first. So you want that pork to sear instantly. You want each piece to have enough space to kind of lie into the wok. Because if you pile it all up, you won't get a sear or a nice sear on each piece. So just take your time with this. And then once all your pork is in, and you can see that small amount of pork is almost filling up my wok. You want to turn your heat down to a sort of more medium heat, and just let that sear and help it crisp up nicely on one side. You don't need to move it around too much, just allow it time to crisp up. Now it is pork fat, so it will want to spit at you, so just be careful. If you're really scared, put some goggles on or something like that. Just have a check of one of the pieces, and you can see it's already starting to go nice and crisp and golden brown on the base. And that's only been about a minute. And that's all down to the blanching or the poaching of that pork first. If it was raw, it would take a lot longer, and you might get a lot of that sort of albumin or the protein coming out, or the liquid as well coming out of the pork. So I'm going to start to turn this pork now. Getting pretty hot with that added fat in there, so just be careful. It is looking absolutely beautiful. And that will soften up again once I put the sauce in and the liquid. But at this point, you can pretty much put your other ingredients in. I won't stir it straight into the wok, but I will put my ginger and garlic. It's almost kind of like using the wok as a barbecue. So I'm just placing things on the side to start to crisp those up whilst you're continuing to sear your pork. My chilli again. I will start to stir fry this in a second, but this just helps to get the timing right. Have your sauce and your Coke ready. So once you've had a couple of minutes on both sides of the pork and your ginger and garlic are starting to brown or char a little, it's time to stir that in, and you can see this crisp finish on the pork belly. So my sauce goes in, and it's going to caramelize around that pork very quickly. Fold that through, and you do want that to get really nice and sticky around each edge, or the edge of each piece of pork. So keep that on a high heat now, and then I want to get my wok really, really smoking hot to a point where the sauce is just about to sort of almost burn before I pour my Coke over the top. So the deep red colour of the tomato paste really works with this and helps along with the dark soy. You can see the wok smoking hot now all the way around and all the way through the centre of the wok. It's about to start burning, so I should probably shut up. Just enough Coke to sort of cover halfway up the pork. I've got some of this poaching liquid here as well. I'm just putting that in to add a bit more of that sort of sweet aroma from the spices. Now, it's just a case of gently stirring it through and reducing that sauce back down. Look at that. You're going to garnish that with a bit of coriander. And there you have it. Nice, simple cola pork belly. Moment of truth. Let me get some of that chili in there. Really great. Oh, the spring onion is lovely and sweet. The interesting thing about this dish is that we're using Coke, but it's actually not that sweet, and that is the base flavours of, well, those spices, the mustard and the tomato paste, are all quite savoury. And actually I get that much more than I do get the sweet. Absolutely love pork belly. It's one of those cuts of meat that you think, I mean, you can cook in so many different ways. Definitely one of my favourites. What's your favourite? What's your favourite cut of meat, guys? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this recipe, you want to learn more, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you are already subscribed, tell all your friends, and like. Don't forget, ding, that notification bell.